I am the Doctor, here once again with vVv Gaming's Amateur Draft League night. Today, Tuesday, it is the second night of the week that we hold. I've also just been told that Friday, I guess, is the last day for this Season 2, which has been a good season to be had. I am joined tonight by vVv Suck My Binky. He will be my co-caster for the evening. Say hi, Binky.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Suck My Binky, joined by Doctor.
And we are already getting ready into our first game. We are in the team lobby, just waiting for the game to start, and then we can start our cast tonight and go over picks and bans.
Definitely, and it should be a real interesting game. We got JC's team versus the Crow's team. And we got Sundown on the team, as well as some other favorable picks like F and Tax. Should be a real interesting game.
Yeah, definitely going to see targeted bans towards JC, Riva, and Sundown. Falconile will probably get his Jinx. It's really not that big of a ban. You would much rather ban a Morgana or a Braum or something like that. So he's definitely going to get that Jinx, whereas Sundown will not see his Kale. JC hopefully won't see his Udyr, and Shy Slushy probably won't see his either Aurelia or his Lily. All of those are ban-worthy, in my opinion.
Most definitely. And we may see a targeted ban against Eve for JC, but there is a possibility in that realm as well. What I'm really focused on right now is to see how LaCroix performs, whether he's mid lane or not. That should be a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, Crow, not typical mid laner, does have some champs that he sort of switches around between the lanes. One of those being Akali, along with the Lee Sin that he used to play, not so much anymore, so it's not that big of a ban. But the Rengar and the Akali are things he's definitely brought top lane, definitely something he's performed on, so I'm excited to see.
Definitely. It looks like everything's still being set up a little bit, so we will need a little bit of time. So, Doctor, what do you think of Sundown's KO, as everyone knows?
It's a one-trick pony. It's not as big a threat as it really is in the games. A lot of it comes down to jungle pressure, whereas if he does end up against something tanky like a Gnar, like a Maokai, once they pick up their first couple items, it really causes problems for him. Kale, with her AP scaling, just doesn't have the straight-up burst potential to deal with these types of sustain carries. So what they'll do is they'll eat the initial burst, sustain back up, and then keep coming at you. Without the ultimate, like when Kale's ultimate is down, super vulnerable to death and ganks. So it's also not that mobile. It can really get caught up by the Twisted Advance, by the Gnar, by the Rock Throw. It's just stuff like that that really doesn't have an answer from Kale. So yes, it has its uses, sort of like a split push, like a Tryndamere type would, but it only makes it so far. That being said, we head into game.
And we see that Lee Sin is targeted first and banned out.
Yeah, Lee Sin, even after his nerfs and the removal of his attack speed slow, he's still a pretty scary champion, especially in the jungle. Nobody really wants to deal with him, and not many junglers these days have the potential to deal with him. We see Falcone's Jinx being banned out, not something unexpected. Singed being banned out against Death and Tax. It is the only top laner he knows how to play. Cho'Gath, Kale, and Udyr, two of those bans going at Sundown. He's been playing, a lot of AP Cho'Gath and a lot of ED Kale. Obviously those are banned out. And then the Udyr being banned away from JC, because that is probably his best champion.
Most definitely, and we see that Morgana is picked up. Morgana is still really strong in that support role, although she can mid, but I'm going to assume she's going to be supporting. especially with her bindings, they still last forever. You can create so much stuff with a Luce or Lucian or Tristana, which are really popular picks right now. It can really get you ahead early game while still during that late game, her Black Shield, as well as her ultimate can create such a presence and zone that can protect your AD carry forever.
That being said, all these target bans being thrown around, it left Tristana still available. The strongest AD carry at the moment. Super impressive in lane, super impressive outside of lane when the team fights do start breaking out. Her increased range gives her a large edge in those mid game fights where she might be a little weak, but combined with the rocket jump and buster shot disengage, she's really not in any threat of dying.
Most definitely, and especially with how her scaling is, she has such a strong early game. Even hyper scales off of that into late game. Her only struggle is mid game. So if she gets behind early, it's gonna take a quite bit of a while for her to get into late. That's why Caitlyn's probably a good pick against this Tristana. Try to shut her down as much as possible early game with that Morgana and Caitlyn.
Yes, Caitlyn can counter the Trist pick. It's a bit hard to deal with this Trist. The range you don't have, so you get auto attacked a lot in lane. But unless Morgana's wasting her Black Shield to stop the explosive shot burns, there's still a lot of poke coming back at the Caitlyn, at the Morgana. And then even if they do burn the Black Shield, then Zelena or whoever is on support will know that it's down, will have that opportunity to Zenith's Blade in and put down a lot of zone pressure at that point. So I think the zone pressure from Leona is going to be enough to get Tristan farm, get her that first item or two, and will still be the monster that she is mid to late game.
You see, that's true. That is true. And we see Sundown hovering over in that talent pick. Oh, no, he's going to go Cyan mid. He's actually pretty good at Cyan mid. It actually plays him quite a lot. He loves to roam after he gets his double Dorans and Moby boots with his Cyan. Try to get early advantage for other lanes. Try to get them going.
Sion, still a useless champion. AP, I don't prefer to build AP. I think you're completely useless. Your shield gets popped. Yeah, your stun does some damage and is fairly long. But once your shield gets popped, you have 0 damage, 0 real anything. You're not even that tanky because the shield is most of what your build comes down to. If you're going to play Sion, you should go AD Hyper Carry. You end up like Master Yi and you just don't die while sustaining forever. Shy Slushy got his Nidalee. We've seen it time and time again. He gets that lane early, and then he sort of moves on into this big split pushing role and never stops. Crow, however, knows what he wants to do, is hovering this Aurelia. Instead goes Galio, and we are seeing the game of troll picks here. Definitely going to be interesting how LaCroix Azir actually heads up against Shy Slushy's Nidalee. It's going to be interesting.
Definitely, definitely. And with him just coming out today, recently, it should be interesting to see how LaCroix plays on Azir.
Falcadile still has heal on his Vi. I'm hoping he doesn't change it because that would be the funniest thing ever to cast. A Vi jungle with no smite. That being said, Death and Tax picking the Galio into, I'm assuming, the Sundown AP Scion. Definitely going to be Galio's lane to have. It's going to be fun for a while. I mean, Sundown will try and build up some damage and some sort of AP.
And it looks like they're going without smite.
And
they troll me.
wow, last second he switches it over. Boo, Falcadile. Definitely would have been much funnier had he kept the heal. They would have lost every objective and then would have been super heal based in team fights between the 3 members having heal. Death and Tax going teleport and the exhaust onto Zelena's Leona. The only real target they're going to have to exhaust will probably be a mid-game Kha'Zix and a late-game Nidalee. You don't have a hyper carry in the Caitlyn. You don't have a hyper carry from this Scion.
That is true. They need to focus around. I don't know. I think they should really more so focus around either Kha'Zix or the Caitlyn for their team comp right now. I'm more so leaning to Caitlyn because they have a good amount of range they can do to deal good amount of poke against their team. The only thing I'm worried about is their Leona can really catch a lot of picks easily with his team comp. Leona has an easy time catching, say, Caitlyn's and Nidalee's, compared to how much mobile they usually are with escaping.
I mean, Caitlyn, although she has her 90 caliber net, she does not have near the same level of self peel that Tristana does. Rocket Jump and Buster Shot are huge, and the fact that you can use them at the same time just to give you even that much more distance involved really sets Trist up to be the hyper carry that Caitlyn isn't. Caitlyn can 90 caliber net away and get a little bit of a slow, but it's not that much distance between her and her target. So the target will still be able to, say, flash Zenith Blade at that point, or flash Taunt with the Galio. There's a lot of counter there that Trist doesn't give her opponents the option to.
Definitely, definitely. And if this Tristana gets ahead in this matchup, I can't imagine a way for them to come back without literally trying to create something. But Sion isn't going to be able to do anything late game because I'm assuming he's going AP.
Yeah, definitely. And with Azir's damage output being what it is come the mid late game, it hits like a truck and it's going to instantly pop Sion's shield pretty much. So again, there goes his damage output. He's not going to have any answer.
Definitely.
And Italy will have to be stuck in a split push role, I'm guessing. Their team fight is almost non-existent compared to purple teams. Between Azir, Galio, and Leona, there's just so much lockdown, so much AoE, so much rush in and kill people that having Nidalee waste her time with that is going to be detrimental to the team overall.
And not only that, they also have that Leona ultimate to easily get those picks and that Vi to follow up on that Leona ult. They can instantly kill someone in the backline if they land their ult. And after, say, Caitlyn's down something, they're not going to have enough damage to surely follow up because Nidalee's going to be split pushing most likely, and Sion's not going to have the damage to deal with the rest of their team. They're going to have to depend on the Kha'Zix for that damage. But I don't think that Kha'Zix is going to be able to do anything. Kha'Zix needs to get fed in this early game, otherwise their game is done. Most likely. Unless Nidalee gets going as well. Because Nidalee could just like 1v2 or 1v3 in the top lane if she gets ahead early game.
Yeah, Nidalee can really become a problem. There's a lot of split push and a lot of dueling potential with the new build. So it'll be interesting to see if Crow can actually shut down Slushy's Nidalee, because Azir's not exactly a proven champ yet. He's not seen on the pro level, so it is just basically people pulling him out of nowhere, people trying to make him work. And there's a lot of different builds going around.
It may be Nidalee middle, but I'm assuming it's going to be Nidalee top versus Galio. I think Slushy is going to be facing Death and Tax. And we'll see the Sion matchup, Sundown, versus the Azir matchup with Lacroix, which is more in favor of Lacroix, in my opinion, with the Azir burst.
I mean, Nidalee does have the, obviously, range advantage over the Galio. Galio, a bit odd when it comes to a lane matchup. He's just going to get auto-attacked to death for the first couple levels. But once he really starts being able to level up his shield, it'll be a lot of health coming back in when he does step on a trap, when he does try and get taken down with takedown.
Definitely, definitely, Doctor. Another matchup I'm really interested, is this bottom lane matchup of JC and Rivera versus Hand Banana and Zelina. If Zelina and Hand Banana can get that engage at level 2, they're going to win that lane. They're hoping to rush at level 2 to down the Morgana and Caitlyn as early as possible, because they're going to have that damage output to shut them down. And after that, they're just gonna secure that bot lane and what's it called? Crocodile will be able to focus on, say, top lane and get that Nidalee ahead.
The Morgana-Kate matchup, though, really isn't that worried about a Leona Trist. The range advantage between Caitlyn's not going to be anywhere near Leona for the Zenith Wave to happen. And then even if JC gets a bit too close, he has the Black Shield to sort of stop that. And they're going to find hand banana. Binding coming out, Q coming out. Or actually, that was the Void Spikes coming out from Kha'Zix. Really unfortunate for hand banana.
And that's not going to set them back too much, but it will bring a huge factor for your mentality. And we see the miss Bindy.
However, that kill went to Caitlyn, so she could base and pick up a pair of boots right this second if she wanted. I feel like it would be worth it for her, because right now they're just sort of wasting time, wasting bindings. Unless they really plan on stealing this blue buff, like I said, it's a lot of wasted time, and they're getting surrounded now.
They are, but they warded that blue buff, so they will have sight on it, and they will know when it goes down for the next up. So they will know that this Vi is starting blue, which is to be expected, so they'll assume that she's going to be top or mid lane after first rotation of buffs. And with that, they'll be able to know which lanes of pressure and which lanes to go forth in. And we see the Nidalee facing this Galio a little bit, chunking him down a little bit.
JC and Sundown are walking over here, but they're walking over wards. Throwing out a green ward. Binding on the Falconile, though. Auto attack. Ignite coming from Sundown is going to pick up the kill, but Sundown could lose his life for it. Because Hand Banana's there also. Binding on the Hand Banana. No damage. Rocket Jump taken first from Hand Banana. Zelena popping up. Flashing heal. Stun coming out from Sundown is going to keep him alive. Now Hand Banana is getting slowed by the red buff of Zilia. The flash binding picks up the kill for JC. And really chaotic level 1 with just all the kills going to blue team.
Definitely. Hand Banana getting a little bit too zealous out there. Going too much in the front, ignoring the Morgana and crew. And because of that, he got killed. And you know now
it's going to be a LaCroix, Azir, Leona bot lane with a Tristana mid.
Oh, dang. And we actually have the Tristana summoners down right now. So that should be a real easy gank for the Kha'Zix and Sion with how much damage that Sion could put out early. Although Sundown has no summoners right now either.
Shy Slushy's eating a lot of minion damage though. The Ignite coming out, but Shy Slushy's still taking minion damage.
I feel like Slushy would have got that kill though. Galio had no mana to deal with Slushy, and Nidalee's level 1 is just gonna...
He landed the spear, he pounced in and went with the takedown. No help support from Zilio even needed.
Definitely, and right now I feel like I should be more so getting a gank off on this side, try to pressure Tristana, try to get Tristana at least ahead, because Tristana suffered that early death and that set her behind a bit. Vi needs to help this Tristana.
Sundown is just going to mercilessly push this wave too. His shield does the AoE damage if it gets popped. Hand Banana starting Rocket Jump, pretty detrimental to her sort of early game actually. Without an explosive shot available, then there's nothing really to harass Sion with.
Definitely. Right now, Hand Banana is just kind of more so focused on farming. And he is going that AD Tristana still. He's not going AP, even though he's mid lane. So, right now, he's just going to be focusing on farming. He's not going to have any damage against his Sion since he has no support to follow up with.
Sundown actually waiting until level 4 to pick up his E to get that bonus AD and the health. Exhaust on the Crow, heal coming out from also Crow, flashing away from Zilia. Zelena is now caught on the wrong side of 3 members, but with all the cooldowns being blown already, no real danger threat. Even Sundown decided to come join the party. 4-man gank bot. Crow and Zelena have no vision onto Sundown though. Binding misses. Sundown coming in anyway. Out of range for the stun though.
They might 4-man dive this right now. They have the possibility, but they don't know where Vi's at.
Really, this is just becoming a lot of wasted time for Zilio and Sundown. This whole time, Triss has been farming in the mid lane, doing something with her time.
Definitely, and that's going to set Tristana back a little bit in the game because of that wasted time. Tristana may... Oh, it looks like they're ganking middle right now. But yeah, Tristana got a little bit back due to that and will be able to survive a little bit else. Sundown's still going to be able to shut her down easily with that level advantage. Sion's early game is super ridiculous. That's what he is all about. Try and shut down champs as early as possible with his outrageous damage and mitigation early on. His AP ratio on his shield, his W, and his stun, his Q, are ridiculous. They are, I believe, 0.8 scaling on each of them.
A good binding onto Zelena locks him in place long enough for Riva to pick up the auto attack kill. And now Crow's not where he wants to be. And easy double kill for Riva, just off of key bindings.
Definitely. And right now, if we go to top lane a little bit, we still see Death and Tex trying to pressure out Mr. Slushy here. And Galio's AP damage is also pretty hefty early on with his MR passive scaling. Actually see.
Ham Banana has no response against Sundown's damage coming in here. He hasn't even based yet. He's already 0-2. He does have 1,200 gold on the bank though, so he should be able to base, pick up a pair of boots, and maybe pick up a Vamp Scepter. Sundown's just gonna dive, but gonna get jumped on again. Buster Shot coming out. Really ill-fated dive there for Sundown. He just overestimated his damage. The heal bait coming from Hand Banana.
Definitely, that's going to set Hand Banana real back in motion. He's going to be able to push out this lane and get that EXP advantage back. He will be able to survive this lane now if he plays it right.
He's gonna base. He's gonna pick up a BF sword, or maybe a Vamp Scepter and some boots.
Zilio needs to pressure Hand Banana to go back right now.
Riva getting caught up by a lot of damage, but the Piltover Peacemaker chunks Crow really low. Binding lands and JC's gonna pick it up with an auto attack. Crow is really squishy on this Azir. Ultimate out of Death and Tax gets popped almost immediately. No real sustained damage coming out there. The speed up from his Whirlwind. Slow not making it. Sundown's gonna bush gank him now. Zilio also here with the evolved spikes. Real easy takedown for Shy Slushy. Zilio wants to chase this though. Decides to just put a ward in the tri-bush and move on with his life.
Definitely. And with that, Slushy is going to be able to force some good amount of farm and be able to recover this lane. Hopefully Slushy is going to be able to take this Galio out soon.
Riva eating a lot of tower shots for only a couple auto attacks worth of damage onto Zelena. Binding straight into Crow's face. Zenith Blade also misses. Now Zelena's not where he wants to be. Teleport from Death and Tax though. Able to pick up a kill onto Riva. Double Soul Shackles coming out from JC onto Death and Tax and Zelena. Heal coming out. Solar Flare coming out on top of that. And a double kill for Death and Tax's Galio. That definitely puts him on par with Midori.
What's Sundown doing? Someone's just going to try to defend this lane. They might be able to Dragon out this, but they're just going to back instead.
With all members involved having sort of a small item's worth of gold, backing now isn't the worst thing in the world. Zilio in the mid lane throwing out Void Spikes just to clear it out.
Definitely. And a little chunk of top tower is going to go down from that though, which is okay, I guess.
Nilly has become one of the bigger tower pushers in the game since her sort of AD rework happening. Heal popping from Riva. Crow walking to a warded bush, just gonna eat a bunch of auto attacks for his trouble. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Nidalee taking it down for free, no response other than the double kill down bottom. Falconile in this top lane, now that he has both buffs, Q's lands it right in the kitty cat's face. Assault and battery coming out, but no ignite to finish it off, and she's just gonna heal it away.
Sadly, Death and Tax's ultimate was down at the time, so they couldn't get that additional lockup, sadly. Otherwise, they would have been able to get that kill. Right now, his ultimate is up, though, so we'll see if he can pressure her or even tower dive her, possibly with Crocodile.
Yeah, and Nidalee's just going to heal it back through. No real danger coming out of that lane from Death and Tax. So Nidalee's going to be able to get her farm, get her kills, and just sort of hit that split push. JC have his shield up, Hand Banana gets hit by a snare, and that should really be the end of that. Zelena chasing a bit longer than needed.
And with all the wards down at Dragon, we may see a little bit of focus on it soon. Yeah, it looks like they're warding up heading to Dragon. There it goes. Now, Purple Team will see this, but they will not be able to respond to it, sadly, with how just ahead Blue Team is right now. Right now, they probably will need to start CGing up and grouping. They need to get more ahead and end this as quickly as possible, because they won't be able to deal with the scaling of their... We see Slushy running away, almost dead, to this Galio.
A final Q from Galio does pick up the kill. Nidalee can't run away from everything. Sundown popping his ultimate to get that bonus attack speed. The explosive shot burning down through most of Sundown's shield, and that's worrisome. Yes, he doesn't exactly have a lot of AP yet, but the fact that a single explosive shot goes through most of it is kind of big.
And this is an AD Tristana, mind you, so this is no scaling on the explosive shot other than just level scaling, which I believe he put a little bit of points in his E. Anyways, you see they are, like I said, starting to siege up mid and group up. We will see a fight hopefully soon. And right now they will need to start pushing hard while Caitlyn farms up and scales a little bit.
Caitlyn being 4-0 though is pretty huge. She doesn't have that many minions over her mid lane counterpart in Tristana, but is head and shoulders above this Azir.
Take in mind, he hasn't gone back yet. He has 2.2k gold. He can get that IE and Zerker Greaves, and maybe even a Zeal, and he actually did buy that IE Zerkers. Right now, they can see just mid tower with little contention, especially with having a Caitlyn and Morgana on Nidalee. They can easily get that with the amount of range and tower push they have. They have such a good siege.
And the poke from Zillia is really going to mean a lot. Evolved Spikes does tons of damage when it gets kills. Between the Caitlyn range and the Sundown, real abandonment of caution, just going hard under these towers with his shield as a huge distraction. It will help them take these towers fairly quickly. Hand Banana picking a bad time to back. It's going to lose a full wave of minions right to this tower. Falconile having to leave his jungle to pick it up a little bit.
And it looks like they're still going to continue laning phase, which confuses me a little bit, but hopefully they can get something out of it, especially if Nidalee split pushing. Nidalee should hopefully be able to 1v2 soon, because she almost has her Triforce.
The problem with not having her Triforce yet is that Death and Tax has already finished his Boots and his Chalice. So he's going to be able to keep up the counter push in this wave just as hard as Nidalee can clear these waves. However, Zillia coming out, popping the ultimate, lots of damage coming out, ultimate out of Death and Tax, locks him down for a little bit. Assault and Battery from Falconile too late. Death and Tax is already dead. Flash 2 gets taken down by Nidalee. Bit of a poorly timed flash, binding onto Zelena, going to lock him in that bush. And now this top lane is going to get pushed in by Blue Team.
It's gonna take a good amount of damage, and we see the next wave has a siege tank as well, so they might be able to get this tower if they focus it. And Banana getting a little bit too greedy out there. Hopefully she can get away.
Buster shot and flash being used. Crow juking back over the wall, but he's gonna have to run back to tower eventually.
We see a teleport by Defintex trying to defend this tower with Selena.
Zelena getting stunned up by Scion. The Solar Flare misses entirely. Binding also misses. Vault Breaker from Falcodile landing onto Zilio. And Ace in the Hole just going to pick up the Crow for Caitlyn.
Most definitely. Hopefully he'll be able to get a little chunk of damage, but it looks like Ham Banana is going to defend that bottom tower.
And really, all members on this red team are fairly far behind. The only one with really any advantage is Death and Tax, being 4-2-0 and having 100 farm. I mean, no one else on his team is really even close. Ham
Not
Banana
at all.
elected to finish his Berserker Greaves over finishing the Infinity Edge, losing a lot of damage.
Yeah, most definitely. And what they really need to do, Purple has to start warding their jungle. They have no control of the jungle. Like, if you look at bottom side, they have like everything warded on blue team. They have 3 wards on that bottom jungle. Well, purple team only has 1.
Yeah, and that was Shy Slushy trying to hang out on a ward, trying to bait something out, gets caught by Falcodile and Death and Tax. Easy kill there.
Definitely. And we will be seeing Dragon contest as soon. It's going to be up in less than a minute. Let's see how they ward around and try to contest it, but it should go to blue team easily.
Top tower finally going to go down to the double buff to Death and Tax. Ham Banana trying to play these waves, but he's an AD carry. Not exactly the best at this.
Not at all, but we can see the range of Caitlyn easily sieging this tower down, with this tower already being below half health now because of that.
Yeah, and Riva with the tower line still from the Crow's tower, hanging out on Zilio, so that's going to be interesting to see this one.
Gotta love those spectator bugs, Doctor.
Yeah, that's going to fall on for a while.
It looks like Dragon's up, and they're all aiming to contest it now. I think that tower line's actually going to get them sight of them doing Dragon.
The ultimate from Death and Tax locking up JC and Zilio. The Crow's ultimate being popped up, however, Nidalee picking up the kill onto Ham Banana. Still full health and is really going to chase these members down. Shield from Death and Tax onto Zelena. Still going to get poked out. A good slow from Death and Tax. Falcodile not where he wants to be. Shy Slushy lands the spear. That's a free kill. Tries to stun up Shy Slushy. Slow coming out of Death and Tax and no real response. That's going to be the end of it. Death and Tax landing on a Caitlyn trap, and that's a free dragon for blue team.
As well as a Dragon is down, and the gold lead is pushed even more further out. Honestly, what purple team needs to do right now, they need to start warding the jungle and try to get picks off of blue team's team right now. They need picks to try to get ahead somewhere and bring that scaling back in their favor. They can still win this with how good their scaling is, but they need to start getting the even out the gold lead. Now what they should do is ward the jungle and turtle up for now.
Yeah, I mean, really, this all lies on Ham Banana for now. He is in that sort of mid-game slump that Tristana's typically hit. However, without even finishing his Infinity Edge yet, he's basically an item and a half behind Caitlyn, who has her Infinity Edge and is just about to finish her Phantom Dancer on top of that. Gonna try and use the Tristana Rapid Fire to take out these towers, but there's no actual damage behind that attack speed yet.
Definitely, and they will disengage off this. And we see Selena pushing bottom a little bit. Hopefully, they can clear out these wards in their jungle soon. But purple team really needs a little bit more sweepers. They only have 1 sweeper right now, and that's not going to give them any control back in their jungle and control of this game.
Yeah, Crocodile really should have traded his ward in for a sweeper a long time ago. However, Ryva having free time with this tower, and Red Team really spawning too late. Already chunked it down below half health, and his blue buff, Solar Flare right onto Zilio, Rocket Jump, however not enough, jump away from Zilio, fail flash from Hand Banana. They get the blue buff, but they go down. Death and Tax putting out his ultimate onto Shy Solution, however, lands a spear, bunches of slows coming out. Sundown not quite dying, but close enough. Death and Tax has to base at the cost of his ultimate and his teleport, with Sundown and Shy Slusher still being able to push that wave with very sustained.
And we see Crocodile wants that tasty Sundown right now. He's looking for it. Well, meanwhile, bot lane, JC and Ryva are gonna go take this tower. We're gonna try to nice binding by JC. Gets a little bit more poke down on LeCrow.
But this really is only a matter of time. LeCrow, obviously not an AD carry, doesn't have any lifesteal to stay in this lane once he gets poked down. Zelena doing what he can with those Targon stacks. But with Shy Slushy coming down, this tower is just about gone. That ace in the hole basically killing LeCrow, forcing him to base. There's no way he can stay on this tower any longer. The sweeper from Zilio, or from GC actually, just missing the ward, however, the one from... No, I believe the ward actually.
The one from Zilio missed, but the one from JC hit.
Oh. Falconile going in on Ryva. A great hit, catching a mid-caliber net. Assault and Battery makes the Solar Flare just barely hit, and he's going to pick up the kill for himself.
It was a nice pick by Crocodile, but I think Zelena's Solar Flare was a little bit overkill. I didn't think she needed to use that.
Sunny down, stealing away the red buff, however, being a scrub and not clearing it, it's going to give the timer back to Red Team when they finally decide to get over there. Death and Tax kind of getting caught out. Binding lands. Sundown, however, no auto attack damage because he built AP. Goodness going to try and make it do with stuns. However, Flash jump from Zilio going to pick it up with the Taste Their Fear evolve.
And we just see how strong Kha'Zix is right now, especially when his targets are isolated, obviously. Kha'Zix still relevant in this meta of the game.
Red Team trading an inner tower for an outer tower. They're going to keep pushing this lane here. They sent Falconile and Zelena back to defend their inhibitor tower, but I'm not sure what they can do. The only reason Blue Team's going to stop here is because they're out of minions. So you played onto JC, not the target you want. Falconile already at half health, exhaust onto him. Zilio eating lots of towers. Soul Shackles causing both flashes there. Death Attacks finally deciding to show up. JC throwing out the Black Shield and the Flash. Two-man ultimate from Death and Tax. Zilio goes down, but Zelena's almost there too. Sundown gets healed by Shy Slushy. Shield coming up last second, but the slow anyway. Binding saves their lives for now, but Death and Tax still wants to chase.
We'll see if JC can get a Q off again on Death and Tax. They're going to opt to recall it instead. Right now, what everyone should be doing is trying to get these boards off on Baron. Baron's going to be a huge contestant soon.
Heal coming out from LeCrow to keep him alive. Really no thought in letting Hand Banana tank that. And the heal was the only reason that LeCrow survived that.
Definitely. We see right now if I just gained that red buff, so that's going to help Siege make it sieging a lot easier.
Falconile finding a kitty cat in the top lane, throwing the Vault Breaker and the Assault and Battery. Pool coming out from JC. They're just going to give this kill away to Ryva, who is already a monster. Was 5-2-4, now 6-2-4, with the Infinity Edge and the Phantom Dancer finished, and another 1,600 gold in the bank.
Definitely. But still, the only one being really effective is Death and Tax's Galio. This is the only one really being effective for their team right now. Just kind of needs to get her Phantom Dancer ASAP.
expected to be a static Shiv coming out of that Zeal. It gives her a lot more wave control and a lot better sort of wave sustain, where she can clear waves super quick between the Shiv and the explosive shot, and it'll give her team the sorely needed wave clear that they're lacking, or safe wave clear that they're lacking. Binding on your death attacks. There's the rest of the team's there, so no follow-up from blue team just yet. Binding lands on the Crow. Sundown going in, lands the stun, but Azir pops the tower. Zelena landing a nice Zenith Blade, slow down onto there. Zilio going a bit too deep, eating tower aggro. 3-man ultimate from Death Attacks. Goes down to the Scion stun, but Zilio goes down to the Death Attacks ultimate. Sundown picking up another kill on Zelena. They're just taking away this team fight. Sundown picked up double kill. Slushy picked up a kill with her takedown, and then Riven is auto attacking Azir to death. Sundown chasing way farther than necessary. Blue team takes down the Azir tower and is now pushing in on the inhibitor tower.
They will take this inhib tower down, and possibly even the inhibitor. They most definitely will take this inhibitor easily. After that, they will recall. They will need to heal up so that purple team does not respond with a Baron.
You have it ordered so far behind that a Baron at this stage would take a long time, and blue team would have ample time to get back there, chase them into the pit, and move on with their life. Stealing away the blue buff, giving it to Shy Slushy. Again, not clearing out the timers.
Looks like they're setting up for that Baron, though. Although it would be really, really risky to do.
They're starting it up. JC still at half health, going to clear out this Chinker Ward from Hand Banana. Really a desperation Baron coming out of red team here. Death Attacks trying to zone them off. Sundown finding the Crow, being forced to flash over the wall. Zenith Blade on Azaleo. Fail smites, dies for his shovel, however, assault and battery onto a super low health target. Not what they would have wanted.
Not at all, and they do get that Baron, so hopefully if they can survive with this Baron, hurt a little bit more so Tristana can get the stuff that she needs. They may be able to make a little comeback. But with Nidalee almost completing her Blade of Ruin King, with how pushed top lane is, can't imagine.
Finding himself a kitty. Once again, Vault Breaker right into the mouth. However, enough damage dealt back that Caitlyn is able to pick it up with the ace in the hole.
We do see that Leona and Gala are running after Sunny D.
Really, the home guards from Death Attacks with the teleport, the ultimate coming out. Zenith Blade lands. Shield Daybreak already used. Soul Flip being used also. The wins and the slow from Death Attacks are enough to pick up the kill. Zilio trying to check if there's anything in his jungle he needs to be worried about. Mostly wards. Finds none and just sort of decides to wander around a bit more.
But we see that mid lane being pushed, and now blue team knows that Leona's ultimate and Galio's Death Attacks' ultimate is down. Those are two crucial ultimates. They may be able to get something out of this while those ultimates are down. It doesn't look that way.
Just barely clearing out one ward, the other one timing out right at the same time as the sweeper.
Definitely. Blue team right now will be trying to get a lot more wards in the enemy's opposing jungle. If they can ward deep, they will be able to siege either that bot tower or that top tower, depending on where they ward. But they do need another inhib right now so they can pressure even further. It's starting to get later on in the game, which is going to be the most ideal time for purple team's composition right now. But are they too behind to make it any worth at all?
Nidalee having her 2-item power spike, whereas on the other side, except for Galio, they haven't hit their biggest stride. Yes, Trist has the Infinity Edge static shift. That is a big point for her, but when compared to the Last Whisper, i.e. Phantom Dancer from the Caitlyn, it doesn't match up. They can't put up the same amounts of damage, and they just clearly don't have the amount that their team needs. Caitlyn is still going to punish Red Team super hard with her range, with her buffs, and her abilities, whereas Hambinan is stuck on the wayside trying to auto-attack and not get caught out.
Definitely. We see that inhib spawning soon, but that will go down just as fast as it spawns if they decide to siege that middle.
The Crows spawned a tower. This last wave here not going to contain a super minion, so Red Team has an option now. They have the Baron, so they're a bit stronger, and now that the super minions aren't gone, they have a chance to push out this mid wave a bit safely than it would have been a second ago, but looks like they're going to try and fall back on the dragon.
Most definitely. See JC getting poked on a little by the Pro.
No real damage coming back now that JC has a finished Iron Rocket SLA. That's a lot of team-wide magic resistance, and it's going to help his team really deal with death attacks for Crow. And finding a way Crow, ultimate being forced out, and the heal. The Soul and Battery onto Riva, no real damage coming out. Crow in the background, picking up the kill onto his ear. Falcon doing what he can, lands on a trap, double kill for Zilio, just going to keep hopping around, flashes over the wall. Caitlyn picking up a double kill after the double kill from Zilio. They're going to push this wave, that's inhib and possibly game.
Most definitely. They will be able to take the Nexus Towers for sure, especially with the Siege King coming with them. I don't know if they'll be able to end though.
Finding a bit too fat for JC's liking, ends up not hitting Trist, but instead of a minion. They take down the inhibitor, decide to fall back onto this bot tower, which just about has a minion wave on it, and it's going to go down almost instantly.
Most definitely. And we see them starting to head off the Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon having just spawned, it's going to be free. Blue team has to deal with the minions, and they have to worry about the Barons coming up in a minute 45. They should really start warding it now, clearing out the enemy wards, so that way they'll know if Blue team tries to set up for it, and they're not. They catch Sundown recalling, hopefully shopping. Azir, the shield just gets nuked down instantly from Sundown, and Hambinan picks up a kill. He really needed that.
Most definitely, and they will be boarding this Baron soon, hopefully. This Baron will be up in less than 1 minute. Right now, definitely they will take this tower. Hopefully, they don't get engaged on because Blue team is starting to creep up on them, and they cannot handle a team fight right now. Although Death and Tax is going to try something.
Death and Tax gets caught up by a binding. Zilio loves the taste of his fear. He's going to hop back in with his reset. Doesn't slow anybody with his evolved spikes. The ultimate from the Crow is going to help him dodge out any fallback damage, but he's slower than the rest of the team. Flash being forced. Crow summoning up a tower, hoping it scares him away. But there's too much lockdown. The ultimate and the Zonia's out of JC. Zilio still taking tower. Riva getting his GA pumped, but Zilio has the isolation damage he wants. He's just going to completely nuke Zelena. The real ultimate from Zelena not doing much. However, Hambinan getting auto attacks. The tower doing work. The TFG stun coming out of Sundown. Buster shot forces him away. The shield was not up in time. The tower going down to Zilio. That's 100 gold in his pocket that wasn't there before.
Death Tex just responds, so they may not get this tower, sadly. But they will try to push out lanes.
Binding missing from JC. Hambinan wants to chase this, but he has to clear out those minion waves in the mid lane.
Definitely. We also see Baron up right now. So they will start considering that after they steal this blue buff. Because they do not want Purple Team to have any chance of recovery. So they will head and ward up this Baron, which is what JC is doing right now, it looks like.
Teleport from Death and Tax onto this blue buff ward. Not quick enough. The stun from Sundown going to pick up the blue buff, and he's just gonna walk away. Just slow missing from death attacks, decides it's not worth his time, he's gonna walk away.
We see purple team all on the bottom side of the map right now. They should not be around there right now, and they really need to try to get wards on Baron, because right now it is blinded to them, and it is up. As JC and hit is warding Baron completely. We do see though they are able to clear that pink ward.
JC getting these wards out, letting him know where people are. The ward costing Zelina his life. Solar Flare coming down, but Zillio's there on the rebound. Ultimate from the Crow coming out. Literally's going to pick it up with a takedown. Zillio going really hard. Crow getting caught up by another binding. Now Falcon's 1v2 Shine Selection and
I think that is game, Doctor.
Going down really quickly. Ham Banana once again the only one alive for his team. There's excellent micro from the blue team. Kills dropping everywhere. They have to take down this inhibitor again, but with 30-second death timers, I think that's game. Unless Ham Banana can clear these minion waves fast enough, there actually isn't a minion wave. So someone's going to do a lot of damage, unless Ham Banana gets blown up right away. He has a chance to stall this. And he's just going to go down. But Zelina's up. Can he do it? He stuns up Sundown, picks up a kill there. Ryva eating the Solar Flare goes down also. The Crow wants a piece of it, flashes in, and that's going to be game. The X-Pepe, but not really, because they just base raced it in the face.
That's the GG. Just couldn't handle how much their early game potential was. Really, the coordination from Sundown roaming everywhere really set them up. That got Caitlyn super ahead in lane when he did all those counter ganks with Zillio. Zillio and Sundown were always together during the first 20 minutes of that game. Really, there was no separating those two. They were usually always together unless Sundown had to take some minions in middle.
Yeah, just going to look at these late game stats. And looking at the gold, blue team had the advantage at every stage of the game. They picked up that first blood, netting them a few extra gold in their pockets, and then they just picked up kill after kill after kill. They started snowballing that into an objective. They got up a tower, a dragon, and another tower all within 3 minutes. They waited a little while, they lost the tower, but again, for every tower they lost, they were able to pick up one. And while the red team got the Baron and sort of dipped it again, blue team was still so far in the lead that it didn't even matter. They were able to keep calm, push it out, get kills, and take the objectives that they needed.
Definitely. And we see how scary a Caitlyn is when she gets ahead that early game. Completing her IE and Zeal before 20 minutes, putting out that damage.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn does become a monster, picking up the largest multi-kill, the largest killing spree, and first blood. So, really, just a well-played game by Ryva. He does know how to play Caitlyn fairly well. We've seen it before. Not really ban-worthy. Most AD carries you can't ban unless it is a Trist or a Lucian. Falcon not getting his Jinx, however, and it kind of showed how uncomfortable he was on the Tristana. Feast checking that bush level 1, giving up first blood. Maybe if he got
was actually playing Vi.
Huh?
Crocodile was actually playing Vi jungle this game.
Crocodile on the Vi. My apologies. He did also kind of show a bit of uncomfortableness on that champion. He did go Mauve Mount Mortius against a mostly AD team. Yes, the AP burst from Sion is something to worry about, but typically you would want some armor going against a Caitlyn, Kha'Zix, and a Midori.
Definitely. I think it would have been better if he completed after Lizard Omens into probably a since he wasn't ahead, I wouldn't go Triforce. And maybe even tankier because he was behind. A general rule of thumb when you're jungling and you're behind, build tanky. After Lizard, he should have got that Omens, and after Omens, he should have built Iceborne Gauntlet and just become even more tanky and tanky and soak up so much damage from the team. If he would have done that, he would have stayed relevant, and maybe Purple Team would have been able to recover somewhat.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the damage vibe build. Your job basically is to dive, dive, dive. So while they did change Golem to be a bit tank more focused with the percentage bonus health, I still don't see a reason to go Elder Lizard. Yes, you do a little bit more damage, but that's not why you're playing Vi. You're playing Vi for the CC utility. You're playing Vi to survive and use your percentage-based health on your W to kill people. You don't need critical hits. You don't need damage burn. You don't need any of that. You need to be able to just shut people down with your assault and battery and your vault breaker. And to do that, you need to be alive. If you just go in and die, you're worthless to your team.
I agree with that, but I still think that Spirit Lizard was really good. Spirit Lizard really brings you a lot of damage for that early game. And that is what it was built for, that early game during the ganks. After that, I normally will build an Omens into, say, maybe even a Locket. Because Lizard does do a surprising amount of damage early game with this cooldown reduction it provides, which is really helpful to a Vi, as well as that early AD it gains. It can really set ahead of a lane with it, especially with your ultimate. You can basically guarantee at least half their health just by yourself. And if you have, say, another mid laner who has like a Zed, for example, you can basically 100 to 0 with that Spirit Lizard. Any mid laner really as Vi and Zed.
Yeah, other than that, well played by everybody involved. Unfortunately, we had to see Sundown play Scion. Hopefully, we won't have to see that again, but considering he's banned out all of the time, unfortunately, we probably will. JC, voting not rigged, you just suck. Sorry to say.
I agree. I do believe that due to that game, Sion is going to be now a permanent ban in all future ADLs. He's not going to be like on the ban list, but he's going to like not. You're not going to be allowed to pick him basically.
Yeah. We're in this next sort of team select. Teams just sort of bouncing around.
Looks like Sundown got MVP, which is not deserved because he played AP Cyan, and everyone knows AP Cyan is terrible.
I mean, in all honesty, he did just about nothing to help his team, so there was no real reason to give it to him. Uh, I mean, again, like I said, he did zero work for his team whatsoever. Couldn't even pick up a solo kill for what it was worth. In fact, he fed the Tristana. He did the opposite of what you want your team to be doing. And really, that clearly is rigged. I agree with JC. We'll have
I
to
agree with JC too. Voting is rigged apparently.
we'll have to take a look into that. A big
Definitely.
investigation.
It's because Sundown can do damage because he didn't build that Magi Soul Stealer. And you know if you play AP Stein, you have to build that Magi Soul Stealer. It's a required item on him. But sadly, Sundown did not have the cojones to build that Magi Soul Stealer.
Anyway, you guys may notice that I have a nice picture here. Something I like to do where every time we show up, we get to see a nice little fan art that I found in whatever day. This one being a combo of the three sort of animal creatures. We have Azir, Nasus, and Renekton, all cute, adorable little chibis. The other day, it was a nice picture of Zed, and hopefully we will be able to continue this in the future. We are into Champ Select. Riva's issue will never be resolved because I have no idea what it was. We will be seeing picks and bans.
Definitely. And we will, like we saw before, probably see Sundown's Kale and Cho'Gath banned, as well as JC's Udyr.
Honestly,
No, they
Cho'Gath is pretty worthless as a champion, so I don't see the point in banning it. There is the Aurelia ban, also fairly worthless. Shy Slushy will just play that middle instead. He's shown it time and time again. Ziggs also pretty worthless as a ban. He's just annoying to deal with.
definitely. And they are banning that Morgana. JC did play a really good Morgana last game, picking some really nice binds.
I mean, that's just Morgana. She's a stupid champion. Trist being banned out because she is that sort of late game powerhouse that is just a ticking time bomb.
Definitely, and they did ban that Tristana, just like you said before. She is probably the best AD carry right now. She definitely is the best solo Q AD carry for sure, but she might be also the best AD carry in general right now.
Immediately being banned
Although,
out. Shy Slushy showing time and again, as I keep saying, that he knows how to play it. Yasuo being banned out because he's not fun to play against. Kha'Zix being first picked, the strongest jungler right now. However, they did leave all of JC's jungler champions available, and I'm wondering if he's going to take one instead of going support.
definitely. It looks like they're picking that KO for Sundown because we all know he loves that one-trick pony champs.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see him getting shut down again this game, doing absolutely nothing but feeding. We'll have to see what they pick. I mean, Nar has given him lots of trouble. I've seen it firsthand. Nar, Darius, champs that you typically don't see along with the Kale, because even Sundown does not know how to deal with everything. Zelio hovering the other kitty cat, Rengar, definitely unfun to deal with when you build the full AD. She'll just pop out of nowhere, blow you up, and then laugh all the way to the bank. I expect that to get locked in.
I
And
expect the J4 to be locked in.
then again, J4, for some odd reason, another useless champion for Purple Team.
We do see that since Morgana is banned, at least the option of either Thresh, or we can also see Purple Team pick up Braum. Because Braum is available right now. Although, I wouldn't recommend going Braum against a Caitlyn. Right now, the bot lane of Caitlyn and Thresh is a pretty strong bot lane. They are super safe and have pokes for days. You won't... If they play the matchup correctly, there's basically no goal that's going to be able to beat a Caitlyn Thresh in lane. They're just that dominant of a lane. Especially when you could just have Q as a Thresh and trap Yordle trap on top of them, then Flay as well. You'll get a ton of health off of that combination.
Yeah, definitely kind of scary. However, Caitlyn pick, there's no reason when Lucian's available. I mean, Lucian is, in most regards, a stronger AD carry than Caitlyn. His dash being on such a short cooldown makes her rely on just her auto attacks, so he will have the advantage in longer trades because of the passive rotation, skill rotations, all around damage output that Lucian has. Yes, Caitlyn has the range, but once he dashes right in your face, you're probably going to die. Rising Dawn locking in that Syndra, something he loves to play. Ignis Frey hovering that Aatrox, not something we typically see.
Not at all. Looks like blue team here is going for a nice siege comp. Pick off and siege with the Caitlyn, Kha'Zix, Thresh. They can get a lot of easy picks with Thresh queuing someone right down, blowing all his ultimate, and then they can just siege after that with Caitlyn's humongous range and power takedown potential.
I mean, yeah, obviously Caitlyn evolution's annoying for the first couple levels, but depending on the support that they decide to go with here, um, Riva will have the advantage in that lane. Just like I said, so much more damage, so much more mobility. Really no comeback from the Caitlyn Thresh lane other than a hook to the face, and Riva's just going to be hopping around that entire lane.
I mean, early game poke of Caitlyn Thresh is also a huge scary thing. So they won't be able to do a lot early until they get those levels. And it looks like they're choosing Lulu support, so it will be Lucy and Lulu versus that Thresh Caitlyn. I'm really interested to see how this matchup works. Because Lulu, if she goes a lot of AP with her runes and masteries, can do a lot of damage, a surprising amount early game, although she will blow her mana a ton. Another thing I'm interested in seeing is Zilio's J4. J4 is such a strong early game jungler. He does so much damage early on, and even before level 6, when he gets his ultimate, he can still have really good ganks with his EQ flat combination. And
Yeah,
even after that, once he hits level 6, he has that potential to dive afterwards.
I mean, J4, honestly, he doesn't quite get tanky the way people have been building him. For some reason, people like to get Elder Lizard on him, but then when he jumps into a team fight, he has the same problem that Vi does. He gets instantly nuked out, and while his Cataclysm may stay, it's not that effective. I mean, every member of Blue Team, except for Syndra, has a way to get out of it, has a way to basically dodge out the Cataclysm, and like I said, he's just going to get blown up and nuked down.
Even then, the focus on Syndra will be enough for them to win a team fight. As long as they can knock down Syndra before she can do anything, they will be able to win a team fight super easily. And even if he goes Elder Lizard, which is a pretty good choice for J4's early game potential, he can go Omens afterwards and have that Lulu ult on him to make him really tanky. And even then, he also has Kale, which Kale could ult him as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how Zilio plays this early game. Jarvan lost a lot of ganking power when his shield was taken down, or not his shield, his diving standard was taken down a little bit. That being said, however, he can still land it if you know what you're doing. Um, but with those early couple of ganks, he's going to be squishy. Coming into a Syndra lane, that's a scary thought. You don't want to be squishy there. You don't want to even give her the option of killing you. And so once she hits 6, I expect him to avoid that lane at all costs.
Definitely. Another interesting thing I'm really want to see is how J4 and Rumble synergize. J4's ultimate is really good with that Rumble. So if J4 can get that ultimate down, then synergize it with Lulu ultimate afterwards, while Rumble still has his ultimate down, it's gonna do a lot of damage to Blue Team. If they can synergize everything correctly and have Lucian's ultimate Coling hit a ton while they're all CC'd, they will be able to wombo combo this fight easily. Especially if Sundown goes AD KO, and he'll be doing a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, there's
They
a
really,
lot of AoE coming out from Purple Team with a lot of mobility on the Blue Team. They're going to have the shield from Thresh. They're going to have the box for Disengage on top of Void Spikes and the Force of Will from Syndra. So it's going to be really kind of a battle of who gets to who first.
definitely, and on that advantage, Blue Team does have a good advantage with Thresh picks. Because with their mobility, they can easily engage with that mobility. If Thresh can get a good pick off of someone, say Revia. But even then, they have, like I said before, they have that Kale ultimate. Kale ultimate and Lulu ultimate is going to make it really hard to get those picks. we will see what happens. They may be able to get those picks while their ultimates are down or while they're separated. That mobility is going to be really good if they're separated. And looks like we're now loading into game.
Yeah, gonna get a first look at these skins. Obviously, Headhunter Caitlyn, the only reason she got popular again. A bit sad to see because it's not fun playing against her. Other than that, Justicar Syndra, now no longer the best skin for her, and Sunny D with the only good skin other than Winter Wonder Lulu, because, I mean, turning people into Poros is always fun.
I don't know. I like Warring Kingdom's Jarvan.
Honestly, between Dark Forge and Dragon Slayer, it's no contest. Dark Forge wins every single time, and Warren Jarvan is just sort
I'm
of
not
red.
comparing his other skins. I'm saying I like Warring Kingdoms himself. If you're talking about favorite Jarvan skin, I like my Victorious Jarvan skin.
And that one's also pretty bad. I mean, the only reason people use it is to show off that they got gold in Season 2. I mean, look at it. It's pretty hideous.
I agree it's hideous, but I like it, and it's my favorite skin in the game because it makes my banner look like a huge dildo, and I love that.
Moving on. Robo Kale, definitely fun to look at. Although Aetherwing does have a bit of an edge, it is fun to see those lights light up as she sort of auto-attacks you to death.
Definitely. It looks like we're getting into game now. We'll see what they will try to do at level 1. I can imagine blue team trying to invade a little bit with that Thresh and Caitlyn level 1. Because if they can get a good Thresh hook to Caitlyn trap onto someone, they can easily pick someone to death.
Into game, we see everybody picking out their items. The solo laners for red team picking up Doran's items, as we typically see. Thresh deciding to go with coin over shield, not something you typically see.
Not at all. I'm really surprised he didn't go Relic Shield. Maybe he's just not comfortable with last hitting. But that's okay, and looks like they're going to be protecting red buff while you can see purple team here trying to get wards into it. They managed to get one, and it looks like they will walk around, but Thresh did ward that, so they will see them.
Standard coming from Jarvan. They're still standing on a ward with no sweeper though, so just wasting time. With a 5-man stack, however, I can't see blue team wanting to deal with them. However, J King letting them know they're wasting their time instead of just letting them sit there.
Definitely. I would have just let them sit there and let them waste their time. Wouldn't even try to do anything with them. Now Rumble is heading back up to that top lane, so he will not lose any XP, sadly. What do you think of this matchup of Rumble versus Aatrox?
Aatrox will win it 100% of the time. Really no response from the Rumble. Yes, he can throw out a Flame Spitter, but Aatrox is just going to sustain through it.
Definitely. With any sustain against Rumble really beats him. And with Aatrox specifically, there's really no beating him, especially when he could just poke out Rumble early on, which he does max out his poke. Poke does a ton of damage early, which is pretty ridiculous, and it's pretty safe for him as well since he has no mana pool.
But, I mean, as I said, the free lifesteal and the free sustain that Aatrox had is going to let him easily keep his health bar up. No kill threat from Rumble, even with the Ignite. Conflict eating lots of damage. Ignis going hard, forcing Shy Slushy already below half health, and with just the Doran shield, He's going to be forced to burn that pot super, super early.
Definitely, definitely. We could see conflict getting low bot lane. This Lulu Lucian lane has a ton of poke potential, even maybe more so than the Thresh Caitlyn.
I mean, yeah, once you land with those piercing lights, there's nothing you can do. It's a lot of burst coming out, and Conflict being forced to eat a biscuit early on, not something he was hoping to do. Sundown just going to mindlessly shove this wave because Kale does nothing else, and Shy Slushy's still eating poke from Ignis.
Definitely, and we can see that J King just warded the ready use of J4, so he will know that J4 just did them and will be somewhere around there.
Running through the mid lane, though, he lets Red Team know where he is and what he's doing. So, bit of an info gain, and where he came from, they're gonna know what he was doing over there. Jarvan sitting in this wave here. Zilio, flag and drag, completely misses. No danger coming towards Rising Dawn. Just letting him know, hey, I'm here, and I'm going to gank you when I can.
You can still see that Slushy is going down.
Slushy eating lots of damage. Forced to flash. J-King coming mid. Sundown super low. Stun, ignite, taste of fear going to come out for the first blood. And this is what happens when you do nothing but push lanes. You open yourself up for counter ganks. Ignis jumping in, wanting to find his buddy Rumble. Doesn't find him because he based.
Definitely. We can see Sundown teleporting back to the lane now, so he will not miss as much EXP as he would. And Rising Dawn is out of mana now, so there won't be much counter. I imagine him going back soon to replenish that pool. As we look at this bot lane, we can still see that Lucian's a little bit ahead. He's looks like a 4 CS ahead right now. The poke gain from this Lucian lose so much early that they could just push this out and not even be worried about this Cosmic Buzz. It looks like the two junglers are bottom right now.
Ignis sitting in the bush, gonna get the knockup. However, Conflict flays JC and Flag and Drag's gonna land on the Conflict. Kill going over to Zilio from an auto attack. Ryva dashing in, just getting lots of poke down. Zilio stepping on a trap just because he can. Ignis lower than Shy Slushy this time around.
Look at Sundown, look at Sundown.
Sundown, the greedy bastard, is gonna try and slip in behind here, but not being level 60 has no real flex. Flashing over the wall at J-King. J-King failing his flash and goes down to Sundown. Sundown lost.
Quite unfortunate.
Sundown lost a lot of lane pressure, but because Rising Dawn being an AP carry doesn't do any damage to towers. Meanwhile, Arise picking up a diving Ryva. Bit sad.
Definitely, and Sundown did get that kill, so it was well worth it for them to do that.
We seem to be having spectator client issues.
Definitely, I'm having the same problem.
I'm hoping it'll just take a couple seconds and then load back in. Apparently not. Spectator data unavailable. Just 1 second, gonna try and get back into it as quickly as possible.
It seems like the servers died themselves.
Well, that is unfortunate to say the least. NA was having issues throughout the day, however, so really it's expected. With everything being down, however, let's see if we can load back in a little bit. Obviously, with
They are all still frozen in the same spot, sadly.
very sad to see our game end on such a note. It was really setting out to be a good game.
It definitely was with 2-2, with the goal not being that far apart. It would have been such an interesting game, especially with this little peasant sundown going 80 KO mid. That would have been such a fun joy to see. But what can you do, right? Servers are fun like that.
Alright, well, 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, well, with the servers being down, games being canceled, Spectator no longer working, we really have no choice but to end it here. Um, hate to see it end this way. We've had 2 weeks of this. Hopefully by Friday it is fixed. We will hopefully be back. Same teams, well, same people, different teams. I would like to thank you, Binky, for coming here and casting what we could tonight. It's nice casting with you.
It was such a pleasure to be able to cast for you, Doctor. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Again, Friday night we'll be back with the vVv Gaming Amateur Draft League. Until then, we have a couple things to keep you entertained. We have Wednesday nights ranked with Sundown. We get together, create a ranked team, place out the placement matches, see how far we can make it. Great time had by all. Thursday night, we have our Adopt a Noob program. I will pull these up for you actually as I talk about them.
Definitely, and I actually take part a lot in that Adopt a Noob program, be it being a noob myself or coaching it. It's usually generally coached by Sundown and Stormforge, and those two are masterminds to this game. As much as we give Sundown, they are really good at that game sense, and decision making is important in League. If you want to learn some of that decision making and even just get better at League in general, no matter what you are, be it from bronze to plat to diamond, Adopt a Noob, definitely come. It will help you in any way possible.
And then following that Thursday night, if you're around at the ungodly hour of 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can join vVv Plague and myself for our weekend full of viewing party for the World Championship. We were here all last week, up every night, sleeping about 2 hours a day. It was awful, but we had such a blast watching the World Championship. Every now and then we had somebody pop in with us, chat about the game. We will be here again this weekend, although these games this week suck and we already know who's going to win. With that being said, everybody, thank you for coming out tonight. We will see you for the rest of the week. Have a good night.